Imagine life as this big stage, and rejection, well, it's like this uninvited guest that shows up with its whole crew: doubt, fear, and the feeling of not being good enough. Fighting the spirit of rejection is tough because it's a whole vibe that can mess with your head. So growing up, I was all about art, but my family wasn't totally on board. They thought making a living from drawing and creating was a wild idea. Rejection hits differently in a place where your passion isn't fully backed. It whispers you're not worth it, and suddenly you're at war with yourself. Then you toss in social media, and it's a whole new game. No likes or comments, self-doubt kicks in. You start comparing yourself to others, wondering if you're even cut out for this. The spirit of rejection messes with your head, and it's tricky. It whispers, your art isn't good enough. People won't get it. But when I started my walk with God, I felt this deep calling to be an artist. And I knew I had to take it seriously this time. That meant I couldn't avoid the hard work anymore, and I couldn't keep hiding and running from my calling. I'm in my late 30s, and this is my third attempt in pursuing art full-time. I first had to allow God to heal the parts of me that were holding me back from sharing my work and putting myself out there. Rejection is one of those things that some of us have been plagued by even while in the womb. It follows us all throughout childhood, and funny enough, we end up being surrounded by people who can't stand us, especially when we start standing in our gifts. And this is not talked about enough, especially in the art community. A lot of creatives aren't where they want to be due to fear of rejection. I didn't even know that I had a stronghold of rejection until a few years ago. God revealed something in a dream, and that's where I realized He was in my creative corner and I had to keep my focus on His words. So a few years ago, I had this dream where I was at an art exhibition. I invited my family and friends, hoping for their support, but instead they came to judge and gossip about me. I stood there feeling humiliated and paralyzed while other artists sold their work and received praise. Then an older lady walked up to me and asked, why was I hiding my work? I said, what do you mean? My work is displayed right here. But she gently told me, no, child, they're not. Your paintings are hidden. Turn around and you'll see. When I turned, I saw that all my paintings were covered by sheets. I said, oh my goodness, I thought I had removed all the sheets. The lady then requested that I uncover the first painting. As I did, it revealed the words of Psalm 34 verse 4. I sought the Lord and He heard me and delivered me from all my fears. I woke up out of the dream feeling like this divine rescue, and I started creating with the understanding that I'm co-creating with the Lord. And it changed everything for me. Now, the enemy hates it when we create. It throws doubt, fear, and shifts our focus away from what God's called us to do. It puts this idea in our heads that what we're doing isn't worthy. The spirit of rejection will try to convince you that if you share your special gift or ideas with others, they'll say no. It's a tricky spirit and will make you believe that those who see these important parts of your heart will say no to your dream, laugh at it, or not believe in it. Because these dreams and things you love are so close to you and really mean a lot to you, the thought of anyone saying no to them hurts on the inside, even if no one has actually said no yet, or might not even say no in that way. But when you ignore the noise and focus on God's call, you'll start sharing your gifts, skills, ideas, your story, because you're starting to heal from this fear of rejection. And it means that God is healing your heart. We're warriors in this creative battlefield. I believe that God is calling creatives like you and me to use our art as a ministry. But the fear of rejection is holding so many back. There's so many people who are in jobs that's causing them stress and health problems, and all they dream about doing is what they love. But the stronghold is real. I notice a lot of people with these fears are not only creatives, but they also have spiritual gifts that's needed in this space, especially now. Feelings of rejection, shame, self-doubt are not of God, and you have authority over them. You can turn setbacks into stepping stones and reclaim your artistic power. We're in this time where we need to rise above and remember we're in this world, not of it. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we've got to stay connected to the spirit where the real stuff happens. Rejection wants you to base your worth on what you do instead of who you are. We have to remember that rejection is not a stamp saying you're not worthy. It's more like a chance to grow and a sign that you're in the arena, you're doing the work. It takes a lot of courage and bravery to put yourself out there, knowing that there's a possibility of being attacked. But we have to heal those rejection wounds. And when it comes to social media, we have to learn not to let the lack of likes mess with our heads. I've learned to use social media as a way to collect data and adjust my communication accordingly to be able to reach as many people as I can. Now, I'm still figuring it out, but I learned to flip it into a guide, not a roadblock. It's going to be tough sometimes. You're going to fail. If you're like me, you're going to fail a lot. Not everyone is going to like your work, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. But you have to remember that none of this defines who you are. Your worth has already been established, and that's the truth that we have to lean on. When rejection knocks, let the spiritual side of you anchor down. Your creativity is like this divine thing, right? So trust your artistic soul, find mentors and tribes that understands you. We also have to find the gold wrapped within rejection. What lesson did you learn? Did you make any new connections? Is this an opportunity to pivot? I started reading this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. I looked up the author out of curiosity and saw that this book was rejected by 25 publishers. He was persistent. When he was signing his contract, he asked the 26th publisher what did they see in the book that the other 25 didn't. And they responded saying, nothing. We're not betting on the book. We're betting on you. And I thought that that was powerful. That same book went on to sell around 2 million copies. When we accept that rejection is part of the journey and learn not to take things personally, we can start sharing our art not for the likes, but for the joy it brings. We have to bet on ourselves, even in the face of rejection. When the odds are against you, bet on yourself. Your mindset starts to change, and every opportunity transforms into a challenge that must be overcome. Believe in yourself almost to the point of delusion, and start going where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Let God guide your creativity. If you're called to create and minister, let your art be a beacon of light. I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences about this topic. So make sure to leave a comment below. Also, remember to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell button so that you'll never miss any of these talks. For those who've been following me for a while now, you'll notice that I'm doing a new thing. My daughter is now 2, and let's just say I understand why people call it the terrible twos. Now, I'm not saying she's terrible. She's actually terrific. However, she's figured out how to escape her playpen and now the carrier. She's also a future track star runner. So I had to pivot. I can't film my painting process the way I used to anymore. So I had to make some changes while I navigate the terrific twos. I just hope that this serves as a reminder to keep flowing with the rhythm of your creativity despite the challenges. And if you are an artist and need more motivation on overcoming fear, then check out this video where I share how I confronted my fear of failure and what I discovered along the way. I'll see you there.